Good day. My name is Jeff Burgess, and I am the founder and chief executive officer at BCD International. One could say our journey into APAC has been 20 years in the making. I contend it was accelerated with the hiring of Andrew Hubble approximately 6 months ago. You only get one chance to make a first impression, as first impressions are lasting impressions. We are excited to do just that with the announcement of our extensive platform of Milestone video appliances. BCD continues to raise the standard on what should make up a Milestone appliance with our technology, including our built-in harmonized plugins for desktop server management, disaster recovery, and cloud connectivity. But you will learn more about these features shortly from people much smarter than me. Okay, I do hire well. The team is excited to deliver the message to the APAC region, and thank you for the privilege of your time.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much for joining BCD International and our partners Intel and Dell Technologies for our first APJ webinar. I'm Andrew Hubble. I'm the Managing Director of BCD International, and today we're going to take you through a little bit about BCD International, what we're doing in APAC, and we're also going to introduce you to some innovation that BCD brings specifically to the Milestone application, and then how we're going to take this to market. So some of you will know BCD Video, the name. This is where it all started with our founder and CEO, Jeff Burgess, who you've already met, and he started building IT hardware appliances for the safety and security marketplace. This was back in the day where we were moving from analog to IP, and the safety and security marketplace really needed a hand in that journey. And that journey has never stopped. It's actually evolved. Under BCD International, there's now 3 separate areas of our business. The original BCD Video is there, and that has grown, as we'll talk about, into a very large business globally. And we developed VSS, and this is a specific area of our business that we build for distribution under our video storage solutions. Our third division, and it's probably our newer division, is BCD OEM, and this is where we bring a private label to some customers that have the confidence and trust of BCD to build their appliances for them, to use their own brand, and we will then also load the applications on that appliance, and we will help that business take the product in country, in theatre, or globally, if that's what is required. So BCD International, we've been going strong for over 20 years, and we've got 150,000 systems presently recording around the globe. We're operating actively in 6 continents, and of those continents, we're active in over 90 countries. We have 40 private label customers, and that is growing all the time. So we are specialists in providing IT hardware solutions for the safety and security and computer vision vertical, and we're number 1 in this space. So BCD International has been built on strategic partnerships, and these are partnerships that have evolved and developed and changed and grown over that 20-year period. We have a fantastic network solution that we bring to market with a relationship with Alcatel-Lucent. NVIDIA we use obviously for our GPUs, and we've got a global partnership with NVIDIA. Seagate is a long-term hard drive partner of BCD's, and we work in our virtualization area with VMware, which is a part of Dell Technologies. So Dell Technologies is our key hardware partner globally, and we are Dell's #1 OEM partner in safety and security globally. So it's a very tight relationship that we have, and we collaborate daily, and we'll talk a little bit more about how that relationship evolves into applications that BCD bring to market. We were recently crowned OEM Innovation Partners of 21 by Intel. So obviously we've got a great relationship with the Intel team. This was the award was in recognition of our Revolve hyperconverged solution that Jason will be talking a little bit more about later on in the presentation. But the relationship that we have with Intel and Dell is very close, and I thank them for our partnership. So the BCD value, this is how BCD, this is where we cut our teeth, is because if we think back to our BCD video, and we're building for the system integrators out there that are working at the coalface, they a lot of times are small businesses, and they needed a trusted partner to be able to work out the calculations that were required from a hardware perspective to drive those applications, and they needed a partner that was going to reduce the risk. So BCD has always defined the industry standards because we do our own test and validation in our BCD labs, that we are able to guarantee our builds and those calculations. And if they're wrong with the information we've provided, we'll replace the solutions. We also have a keep your hard drive warranty. Safety and security is an interesting area. So customers have very sensitive data that sits on the hard drives that are out there on premise. If we have a hard drive failure out there, they can't be taking that hard drive off and having that leave the premises. So BCD will send out a replacement hard drive once we've validated the error, and the faulty hard drive can stay on premise. We back our solutions up with either 3 or 5 year warranties, and this is back-ended with our relationship with Dell Technologies. So we can have a technician on site next day anywhere globally where BCD is operating. And we've always been the fastest to market to ship those solutions, whether that is a private build or that is a VSS appliance, or that's a BCD video appliance for the marketplace. In the US, we operate under 10 days from order, and that's the benchmark that we're working to in APAC. So our Asia Pacific BCD International is our latest expansion, and with that expansion, we have offices in Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and India, and we have our engineering center in Ahmedabad in Gujarat. So we launched this engineering center in January of this year. We've got a huge warehousing and capability of running up to 75 systems simultaneously. The facility is federated with our BCD US Innovation and OEM Center, which is located in Chicago, Illinois in the States. That's our headquarters. And we also have offices in Dubai and Mexico. Tilburg, Netherlands services the European offices. And we've also got an office in Fresno, California. So the investment that BCD has made into the APAC region, we've done this for a number of reasons. One is we have global partners that have customers that obviously are in the APAC region, and we want to service them locally. And that's why we have got a facility now that we can distribute our applications and our appliances from Ahmedabad OEM, and we will service these throughout APAC. I'm now going to hand over to our Global Business Development Director, Max Burgess, who's going to take us through the specifically Milestone applications and appliances that BCD has developed and some of the innovations that we're bringing to market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Max Burgess. I am part of the Global Business Development team. I am based at our global HQ right outside of Chicago, USA. And the benefit of working with BCD is we have solutions for all of your specific needs. We are vertical agnostic, and we can support you in any way you need. As you'll see, we have video recording servers, storage solutions, workstations. We also have a terrific network partner, Alcatel-Lucent. We have industrial servers for any of those hardened or rigid conditions that you work in. And we also have our hybrid hyperconverged infrastructure solution. So again, we can support you in any shape or size. And now I'll talk about our BCD Milestone specific solutions. So in this portfolio, we're going to have innovations that no one else in this market can offer you. We have an iDRAC plugin, which is specialized inside of Milestone, which we will talk more about later on in this presentation. We have a harmonized bridge, which allows you to have the hybrid approach to both having on-prem and cloud-based storage. And we have our BCD Video Storage Accelerator card, which has allowed us to maximize the performance on the Milestone VMS. Now I'd like to go over and talk about our product portfolio. So as you'll see here, before I get started, I'd like to kind of make sure you all are aware. The parameters that you see are based on 1080p, 30 frames per second, approximately 5 megabits per channel, and H.264. And this is for management and recording server only. So I'll start off with our first solution, which is our BCD 350T. This is our 3-bay tower solution that can support up to 50 channels, can comfortably record up to 360 megabits of throughput, and can handle 32 terabytes of storage. This solution is on a Core i3 10th processor generation. And before I also want to let you know that all of our solutions will come with the BCD harmonized bridge, which Jason will be taking on later. And our next solution is the BCD 150D. This can support up to 20 channels, and this is our 1-bay desktop. It's a small form factor, so perfect for that retail, vertical. Our next solution is the BCD 350R, which is our 2-bay rack mount unit. Comes with the Core i3 9th generation processor. This can record up to 360 megabits of throughput, 32 terabytes of storage, and this comes with Windows 10 IoT Enterprise, SSD, and SATA drives, and can support RAID 0 or RAID 1. The BCD 700R. This is our 4-bay rack mount server that can support up to 100 channels, 720 megabits of throughput, 64 terabytes of raw storage, Windows 10 IoT Enterprise, and this solution can support RAID 0, 1, 5, 6, or 10. Now we're going to go into our larger solutions. So the BCD 1000R. This comes with a single or a dual Xeon Silver 4210R processor. And you'll see the recording rates. We can do 871 megabits of throughput, on a single processor, 1 gig NIC. And if we do dual processor with 10 gig NICs, we can support 1300 megabits of throughput. This can support up to 128 terabytes, Windows 2019, and it can support RAID 0, 1, 5, 6, and 10. Once you go into the Windows Server 2019 solutions, these solutions can support these solutions will come with the iDRAC plugin, harmonized bridge, and the BCD storage accelerator. The last solution that we have is the BCD 1800R. This comes in both a 12-bay, 4210R processor, and we also have a 24-bay solution, which is our Xeon Silver 4216 processors. As you can see on the benchmarks, this can do up to 350 channels on the 12-bay and up to 450 channels on the 24-bay. And we have comfortably tested this up to 2600 megabits of throughput on the 24-bay dual processor solution. We are able to also have up to 384 terabytes of raw storage on a 24-bay solution. All of this will come with Windows Server 2019 and all of the features that I previously mentioned. So from there, I would like to transition over to our Vice President of Global Sales, Jason Glover, and talk about what all these integrations do.
Thanks, Max. Thanks, everybody. First of all, for joining us. My name is Jason Glover. I am the Vice President of Global Sales here at BCD. It's not very often that you have hardware guys that are actually going to talk about software, but that's what I'm going to try and do for this whole team here today, and bring to light some of the kind of advancements in technology that we have that we're actually bringing to the market in a completely different way. So we'll start right out talking about the Harmonize suite of software in general. So Harmonize is kind of our family of products that we've developed. Each one has maybe a little bit different application based on the hardware, based on the deployment. But what you're going to see here is we're going to focus on just a few pieces of that right now. First of all is the Harmonize iDRAC. iDRAC is a health monitoring service that exists inside of our servers, appliances, storage that we've been selling for years. What we did is we took that health monitoring from an IT perspective that existed, and we transitioned that into more of a security application. What I simply mean by that is we're taking that events, those information that is provided. It could be things as disk drive failure. It can be CPU temperature. It could be maybe something's overclocking. Anything that exists inside of that iDRAC service itself is now being populated into the Milestone XProtect client. So again, instead of having to have the separate IT group that's maybe monitoring health and just kind of longevity of the actual drives and the appliances and the servers, et cetera, we wanted to bring that all to one single pane of glass from a software perspective. So we got a bunch of very, very smart coding guys together in a room, figured out how to make that work, and now we built this full plugin inside of Milestone. As Max had mentioned earlier, any appliance that is in that family, in that series of Milestone appliances that does have iDRAC Enterprise on it will also have the Harmonize iDRAC plugin as well. Go ahead, Andrew, we can go ahead and move forward on the next one, sir. So Max also mentioned the Harmonize bridge on a couple of different occasions. So any time that we're recording video for a Milestone server or for a Milestone deployment, we wanted to be able to expand that drive. Really what it boils down to. We wanted to be able to take that architecture, that storage, and we wanted to expand that to the cloud. So we started looking at ways to do that, which led us to the Harmonize Bridge. Harmonize Bridge is a partnership in technology between ourselves, BCD, and Tiger Technology, which I'm sure a lot of the Milestone people that are watching this are pretty familiar with. We did sign a very exclusive agreement with Tiger to be kind of the reseller in this space. That technology is used for all kinds of different applications, from media and entertainment all the way down to just simple file transfers. I think one of the interesting things is when you start looking at this is the ability to really take any device that's running Milestone and immediately make it a hybrid cloud appliance. It's really that simple. Apply a license, turn it on, and pick your cloud vendor of choice and start recording to that cloud provider. The other thing that's important to understand is not just having video long-term cloud storage. This also is a great spot if you're trying to manage disaster recovery. Being able to take a snapshot of your database, taking a snapshot of your configuration. In even larger applications, such as maybe a hyperconverged environment, you could literally take a snap clone or a snapshot of your VMware and be able to also bring that into the cloud as well. So again, this is a very cost-effective way to be able to leverage. Maybe you need long-term storage. Maybe you need a few cameras that are going to be what I would call, exceptionally important, and you want to make sure that you have backup upon backup of video. You can absolutely do that with the harmonized bridge. You're going to use different tiers based on the cloud provider. So maybe that's a hot tier, maybe it's a cold tier. It might be a long-term archive tier as well, like what we see with some of the larger storage providers. As I mentioned, disaster recovery. Yep, perfect. He beat me to the punch already, so he was ahead of me. So this is a perfect shot of the architecture. This is a group of cloud providers that we're using right now. As the cloud providers continue to, let's call it, elevate themselves in prominence, we'll continue to add and maybe even take away from this list. We do have a resale agreement for this space with Wasabi, soon to have a long-term agreement with Live as well, which is the Seagate product. And we're obviously constantly evaluating different cloud architecture tiers and what that would be and how we can bring those to the market. So from an appliance standpoint, keep in mind every Milestone appliance that you buy from BCD is going to have this architecture and this application ready to go, and it will be preloaded on those machines. All you'll have to do is license that. And one of the other interesting things too is we're working on a little bit more of a live portal to make that licensing even more user-friendly as well. So I always get asked, especially on the Milestone side, how does Milestone work in a hyperconverged environment or on a hybrid hyperconverged environment? And I always try to explain to people that it really boils down to what you're going to do with it and how you're going to use it. HCI, hyperconverged infrastructure, has been around for a little while. We wanted to take a little bit different approach to it, which was more video centric. We did not want to just take the normal IT methodology where you just layer a bunch of applications in a virtualized environment and just basically turn on the switch and hope that it all works. Because we're video experts, we did a lot of testing, and we continue to do testing today on throughput and scalability and what makes the most sense from a video application standpoint. And what we found was by taking some off-the-shelf technology, pairing it with our harmonized platform, we give ourselves a very, very competitive and a very scalable hybrid HCI approach with our product called Revolve. Revolve comes in 3 different, I'll call them flavors: Deep Store Lite, and then the Deep Store Plus. Really, the main difference is going to be size and scalability. At the end of the day, from an application standpoint, the Deep Store Plus is going to have dual pathing from multiple SAN architectures, so you can actually write to both SANs at the same time. Deep Store Lite is going to be obviously just a scaled down version of that. Deep Store is really where we're seeing more and more inquiries where they want to have some disaster recovery, multiple application levels of management, just not only on the VM side, but in the building automation, security, different applications that they want to run everything together. So there's a few parts of the Harmonize. I won't spend a lot of time because you can see it on the screen there, but the interesting thing is as we continue to develop this product, we'll keep adding parts and pieces into this. So Harmonize, again, is that family of products that BCD has developed to be able to manage these different applications. So again, we continue to innovate. We're trying to stay at the forefront of this kind of hybrid HCI infrastructure. And again, I think this is a very interesting and very competitive way when you get into a large scale storage application to be able to manage your Milestone environment.
I would now like to call upon our keynote speaker, Francois Milan, who is the director from First Distribution, who is going to give us some background on First Distribution and how they've become the most successful distributor of Milestone and BCD in South Africa. Over to you, Francois.
Thanks, Andrew. Quick one on us. First Distribution is a large IT distributor. We have regional offices in 10 African countries. So we have a fairly large footprint in Africa and supply a lot of IT infrastructure, from data centers, actual tin, to cloud services, to cybersecurity. And our division started 12 months ago, which is digital security and IoT. And part of that offering is video, a large part of it actually. And reason for that, a lot of businesses are looking where they can make improvements in on the bottom line. And a lot of people don't realize the amount of data one can extract from cameras and video. Probably the most powerful IoT sensor out there. And we're seeing a growing demand for extracting data and helping people with business requirements. Actually just giving you a vision of your business, especially in Africa where it's dispersed all over the show. Yeah, and that's First Distribution for you.
Yeah, thanks, Francois. What are the brands that you carry with First Distribution? I noticed we talked about Milestone and BCD. What are the other lines of business that you carry in South Africa for the South African security market?
Okay, so First Distribution is a very large company. We supply Azure and Amazon cloud services, all the usual cybersecurity. And then we work with a lot of the players in tin. We actually the largest Dell enterprise distributor in Africa through numbers and built that up over years. But from a security perspective, we work with Milestone. It's our preferred software. It's our cog. It's the center of all our business, and everything revolves around that. We believe in the cameras that add value. We work with Bosch, Hanwha, and Vivatech. And we also quite like this security and safety of things alliance. We really do see, we like the philosophy that the same as IoT, that a lot of this intelligence is moving to the edge. So we really look at the vendors that are going to offer that value. A camera is not just a camera. We want the thing to do more than just look at a scene and record. You know, everything's about event-driven actions, but also having real-time data on what's happening with business. So that's important for us. We do work with a lot of the analytics vendors out there. There's still a space for server-based analytics, and obviously the more advanced analytics, the guys that really pioneered or push it. We work with the guys like BriefCam, Cymos, iSentry, AI Tech, and there's numerous brands out there that we work with, but you know, the key to it is really Milestone. It's the center. It works with all the camera vendors. They've done something really unique with looking at their software, having a separate database for metadata. So all that stuff that's created from the camera. I know a lot of the VMSs say they do metadata. They don't. They just have events, and you search the events. There's a difference between the ability to mine that metadata and in my world, everything's about data. and the importance of that. And it's growing all the time. The longer you can keep it, the better. So video we keep for a certain amount of time, but the data we're extracting from the systems and the cameras, that's the gold. That's the stuff that people want to look at, trend analysis and see how things are happening in real time. So that's important for us.
Mm. Yeah. Look, thanks for those insights, Francois. That's interesting, and I'll probably come back to you in our fireside chat, because I've got a couple of questions that I'd like to drill down a little bit more. And speaking of the fireside chat, I'd like to introduce our delegates who are going to join us in our fireside chat today. Sandesh Karp from Country Manager Milestone from India. Welcome, Sandesh. Thanks for joining our fireside chat today. And we're also joined by Manu Shankar, who's our Business Development Director, Computer Vision, Safety and Security, covering the APJ region. So the format we're going to use here, we've got some questions that have been posed by our community. I'll go through and ask some questions of our delegates here, and certainly we can take some Q&A later if time permits. So just back to you, Francois. I know that you've done some work with BCD's unique accelerator card that was specifically designed for working with the Milestone application. And I believe that you've actually had some input back to BCD as well. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about how you see the advantage of that particular piece of hardware in BCD's offering, and how it's helped you with the Milestone application, maybe win a project.
Yeah, it's actually helped us more than just winning projects. It's helped us really be dominant in our market space. I think we're working on a lot of hosted video projects and city surveillance, and typically these are going into data centers, and space is a premium. So I think the uniqueness is taking a normal server and just getting more out of it. So in layman's terms, it's like turbocharging a server. How it actually works is also phenomenal. You know, you would take a traditional Dell server, and let's just use, for an example, you have a 12-bay server. Typically with video surveillance, your limitation, your server is always your throughput. So throughput is obviously how the higher the resolution, the less the throughput or amount of cameras you can shove on a server. And one of the biggest bottlenecks besides network when it hits the server is always going to be your hard drives. And that limits us. And the design of hard drives limits us. There is new technology out there, but it's expensive. And I think the accelerator card is a bridge. It's a massive bridge to things like flash memory or storage arrays. But what it does is very unique. It's a card that you slap onto the motherboard without taking out hard drives, and you can really bring in a lot of video into a server. And that allows us to use all 12 hard drives for storage, opposed to taking, let's say, 4 hard drives out of that equation and RAID 10ing it for incoming video in order for speed. So what we're seeing is sometimes even a factor of 4 times amount of cameras onto the same server that we would just buy off the shelf. That's massive. It's really a massive saving when you're looking at a data center where you're paying for every U you use. You're paying for rack space, you're paying for power, and all of that. And that all adds into an equation which a lot of people don't just take for granted. So we worked with BCD. We won a lot of great projects and pushed the accelerator card. And just the return on investment on that little bit extra you pay and put one of those cards into a server is phenomenal. And no one else can do that in the market space. But we've taken it a bit further. We've gone as far as testing on certain projects with 2 of these accelerator cards, and even increasing this amount of cameras in a server by a phenomenal amount, and then using on the back end existing SAN storage or whatever's in there. But it's really been a a phenomenal success story. And I think we've got about 8,000 cameras pumping through that system at the moment with only a few servers. We've really reduced the rack space from the previous installation. So we are so happy with this. And we're just seeing this application wherever we go. We're saving people money. Instead of someone putting down 4 servers, it's 1 server now and using accelerator card. And it just works so well in the Milestone architecture with the live video streaming through this accelerator card and then dropping the video onto a disk array. Because let's be honest, a lot of people aren't reviewing or playbacking that video a lot. So we can throw it into those disks and you can then play it back when you need to see it. So a win-win for everyone.
That's great. Look, thanks for the deep dive on that, Francois. That's educational for our audience out here. And speaking of educational, I've got a question for you, Sandesh. Let me just bring you up here, spotlight you for everyone. Yeah, the question was an interesting one and very topical. It's about business planning and the recurring COVID-19 clampdowns in response to possible new waves of infection. So obviously Milestone have got a number of different software applications, and this is one that I know that you're being focused on over this last 12 months, but particularly with India being hit so hard in the second wave. Maybe you could add some context around Milestone's view and how you're approaching these challenges.
Firstly, I would like to thank Andrew for inviting me for this fireside chat. See, India needs to be prepared for a possible surge as new strains of COVID-19 continue to emerge. Business agility will continue to be tested by organization responding to tightening and loosening of safety measures. The ability to scale quickly, adapt fast to remote working, and being supported with a strong organizational digital infrastructure will ensure continued employee and customer safety and help navigate strategic decisions to ensure business continuity. See, what video can do, integrated video technologies will emerge where they will enable contact tracking, temperature detection, and crowd management. Having been a fundamental in keeping the infection at bay, business needs to look beyond these present measures, where business needs to invest in smart and flexible work infrastructure, build a people-first culture. Milestone is in the forefront of building this people-first culture. This will not only help in the long term, that will be ready to adapt to changing demands, even beyond COVID-19. This will ensure that they are not just COVID-proof, but also future-proof. Milestone is going in that direction where we are not only looking just at COVID, we are also looking at the future.
Great answer, Sandesh. And look, I know that Milestone are forward thinking and you have a great array of eco partners that I imagine that you work with also with these solutions, because making a workplace safe for your workers to come back to, you need to be touching a lot of the security and safety infrastructure, whether that will be access control or it might be IoT devices, it might be the parking management, it might be the cleaning services. So I imagine that you're working with a lot of your eco partners on providing this holistic solution.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Manu Shankar, thanks very much for joining, and appreciate the Dell being a co-sponsor of this event. Let me spotlight you and ask you a question that's come through, and this is quite topical. It goes back to a comment that Francois made actually, and it was around the edge computing. So how does Dell Technology OEM Solutions view edge computing, firstly, including AI, ML, and DL? And how does this all tie up with BCD video?
Thanks, Andrew. Good to be part of this fireside chat. Thanks for inviting Dell Technologies, OEM Solutions. Good to be amongst you, Francois and Sandesh. Uh, Look, the idea of edge computing is nothing new. We've had distributed compute and pervasive networks for decades. According to Gartner, currently about 10% of all enterprise data is produced and processed outside of the data center. But by next year, this figure will increase to more than 50%. Factors like IoT, analytics, AI, and increasing realization that in order to capture the value of all this new data, compute has to move to the data and not the other way around. One of the key primary edge functions is, as we all know, is analytics and AI, which is what a partnership with BCD Video is all about. Dell and BCD Video have a massive global OEM relationship. Dell platforms are highly optimized to run on Milestone X Protect VMS. Between Dell and Milestone, we are constantly validating, optimizing our solutions, ensuring predictable performance resulting in rack space, power savings, ensuring greener footprints for our customers. BCD Video is the one who stitched this solution by creating the Siberia platform. We all heard from Jeff and Max, BCD harmonized platform ensures ease of use, plus seamlessly connect this platform from the edge to the cloud. Hence, this partnership between BCD Video, First Distribution, Milestone, and us is all about our joint solutions, advancing human progress, which is what Dell Technologies is all about. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Manu. Great roundup. And look, that concludes our session today. Firstly, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this event, Intel and Dell, great partners of BCD. Thanks very much for being a part of this. Francois, excellent coming on as our keynote speaker and obviously a good partner in South Africa. Very much appreciated. Sandesh from Milestone, India. We've got so many plans with Milestone around the region, but our focus in India, where we have our engineering center, where we're actually building our BCD solutions for the marketplace. We're very focused on your community there, Sandesh. Thanks for joining. And last but definitely not least, the audience that have attended today, thanks very much for joining, and we all appreciate your time and look forward to partnerships and close working business in the future. Thanks very much.
I'd like to thank everyone for attending, and we look forward to supporting you out here in APAC. Please contact us on the below link, and we will respond promptly. Have a good day. Look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.